Is there a sense that really this is a moment of reckoning, a bit of an existential crisis as to how these social media companies conduct themselves when it comes to politics?
I believe we're at the watershed moment for social media companies in general. These last incidents have shown that there's a fundamental challenge with how they've structured their terms and conditions. There continues to be a shift, even by their own definitions of what is and what is not correct and right to have in a platform. And they're really more news and media platforms than they have given themselves credit for. And they put themselves in a very precarious position right now, which most likely will lead to some form of regulation, perhaps even within this year.
What does that regulation potentially look like?
I think one of the things that's very challenging right now is that we want to be flexible in terms of terms and conditions and trying to define what is or isn't something such as hate speech. However, we can't go changing the rules every 3 months. And we have to also have some consistency, as you noted earlier, and as was noted in the last conversation. Some things were okay, then they weren't okay. And the timing of that is also very interesting as well. So I think we have to be sensitive to the cultural context and what people want. But I also think that we have to have some rules and guardrails. And right now, we don't really have any rules or guardrails because they are private companies. And they can do whatever they want, and that's fine. But they have not necessarily proven that they can deliver a consistent quality that is expected of somebody that claims to be a platform.
And at the same time, President Trump is now saying that he may be building his own platform. We have seen, of course, Parler, the new social network, which has been preferred by conservatives, actually getting pulled out of Google app stores and also Apple app stores. What sort of avenues are there for those people who do not agree with mainstream social media companies?
I think this is the debate that we're having right now. It's unclear what is available to anyone. It's unclear what a private company can or cannot shut down. And I think that we have now hit that moment where it's only a matter of time before something else happens and somebody says, hey, we have to regulate this. And I think we're at the beginning of that dialogue right now. And it'll be very much the way telecom and other things have been regulated in the past. But the reality is, the answer to your question is no one knows. You can put something up, and if it's deemed inappropriate, apparently it can be taken down. And that is within the right of a private company to do that. So then the question is, you're asking me if there will be other alternatives. There could be other alternatives, but somebody has to be willing to fund those.
And of course, at a time when there's so much uncertainty surrounding big tech, we are having this CES conference. What are we expecting from that avenue? Because of course we know that we're not only dealing with these challenges, whether it's social media, but also these big companies that have suffered through the pandemic, if not benefited as well.
Yeah, I think where we are with CES, it's a very different time, right? So it used to be all about the flash of the technology, but no one's there and the flash isn't there. And frankly, I think the people that are participating in CES are trying to be more sensitive to the times, right? Many of us are looking at the possibility of a global recession. If not a recession, certainly a dialing back of what was considered mass consumerism. So what we're seeing at CES is people trying to connect with things that are more meaningful to people, how they entertain their families when they are at home, how they create health and wellness in areas where you may or may not be able to get out. How do we create sustainability and inclusivity in technology? And so those, I think, are some of the key themes that we're going to see coming out of CES. And I really do think it is a challenge for people to drive that same kind of excitement and enthusiasm, but also, you know, why do we need more? What is it that is going to be special about what's coming out now? But I do think we're going to see some really interesting intelligence services, some great entertainment options. So it should be fascinating to see how people connect in this world.